On the day of my brother's wedding, his wife said to me,
"I never liked you from the start. There's no room for a fat monster like you here, so leave."
My sister-in-law hurled insults at me, a pregnant woman. Despite wanting to attend my beloved brother's wedding, I couldn't bear being treated this way. I reached my breaking point. The situation took an unexpected turn after I declined to attend my brother's ceremony. My name is Maria, 30 years old. I manage part-time work and household chores. My husband, Jason, is 2 years older, and we've been married for 3 years. He works as a buyer and salesperson at a major department store, consistently excelling in sales due to his refreshing appearance. We had been hoping for a child from the beginning, and recently, after undergoing infertility treatment, we were blessed with our long-awaited first child. Especially for me, I was overjoyed to be pregnant with the child of the man I love. When I shared the news with my husband, he was equally ecstatic. "Jason, I think I'm finally pregnant."
Huh? Is that mean?
"Yes. It's our child, Jason. I'm finally pregnant."
Really? Wow. This is amazing.
My husband said, tears welling up in his eyes.
Thank you,
he said, embracing me tightly. Since then, we've been looking forward to meeting our soon-to-be-born child and enjoying each day together. Amidst this, there was another person eagerly awaiting my childbirth. That person was my own brother, Michael. Since we were kids, my brother, who is 4 years older, has always been very fond of me. Our bond remained strong even as adults. We had discussed the infertility treatment, so when I shared the news of my pregnancy with him, he shed tears of joy like my husband. I've heard that even our mother was ecstatic beyond belief. Whether it's marriage or pregnancy, my brother always wishes for my happiness. I love him dearly for that. One day, 2 months into my pregnancy, I was summoned by my brother. "Michael, what's this about?" I asked promptly, and my brother, scratching his head awkwardly, said,
"Well, you see, I'm getting married."
"Huh? Married? Michael?" My brother attended all-boys schools for both middle and high school, and even in college, where there were few female students in the science department, he never mentioned having a girlfriend. Despite our parents suggesting arranged marriages several times, he never showed any interest. While I think he's not bad-looking, his introverted nature has always kept him distant from women. So, for him to suddenly announce his marriage, I couldn't hide my surprise.
"Yeah, it's surprising, huh? To suddenly drop this on me."
My brother admitted. "Well, yeah. So, who's the lucky lady?" I inquired.
"She's 3 years younger than me, so she's a year older than you, Maria. Her name is Amy, and we met through work."
My brother explained. "Through work?"
"Yeah, well, you know, she's the daughter of a business associate,"
he said, blushing. The daughter of a business associate. That's amazing. Does stuff like that really happen? Like in dramas? I exclaimed in astonishment, and my brother, blushing, replied,
"You're being dramatic. Even though she's the daughter of a company president, she's working diligently at her father's company. Since we're both getting older, we thought it would be best to get married sooner rather than later."
My brother explained earnestly, unlike his usual self. His sincerity somehow warmed my heart. Could it be that my brother, who has always wished for my happiness, has finally found someone special for himself? Thinking so, I couldn't help but feel happy as if it were my own happiness. A month later, my brother arrived at our apartment with his fiancée.
Nice to meet you. I'm Amy, the one dating your brother.
His fiancée greeted me. Amy, my brother's fiancée, was beautiful with a good figure, clearly fitting the image of a career woman. Seeing her, I couldn't help but feel that she was on a completely different level from me. Nice to meet you, Amy. I'm Maria, your sister-in-law. My sister-in-law replied.
Oh, you're his sister.
Returning the greeting to Amy, she gave me a sharp look. I felt momentarily stared at, but perhaps it was just my imagination. However, that premonition seemed to be accurate. After that, she hardly spoke to me and only addressed my husband.
Jason, you are amazing, aren't you? Working as a salesperson at that prestigious department store.
Suddenly being addressed by her, my husband was flustered but replied.
Well.
I haven't been to the department store much lately. When I go shopping next time, could you pick out something that suits me?
Haha. Well, sure, thank you. I'll be waiting for you.
This fiancée, her attitude is blatantly different toward me and my husband. Moreover, she seems to be giving my husband a flirtatious gaze. However, I don't want to ruin the atmosphere and, above all, she's the partner my brother chose. Just as my brother wished for my happiness, I too want him to be happy. I don't want to ruin any happiness over such a trivial reason as her being cold. Feeling many reservations, I couldn't say anything. Since then, Amy has been visiting the department store where my husband works frequently. On this day as well, my husband returned home and complained with a sigh.
Amy came to my place again today.
Huh? Again? I remember she came yesterday too.
Yeah, she did. It's nice that she buys various things, but even when I'm busy with other customers, she interrupts without hesitation. Other salespeople are also troubled by it. It's a bit.
I didn't know that. According to my husband, she spends thousands of dollars on shopping each time.
It's appreciated by the store, but I'm worried about her money sense, even though she's the president's daughter.
My husband was concerned. Several months later, my beloved brother's long-awaited wedding ceremony arrived. By this time, I had entered the late stages of pregnancy, and my belly had grown noticeably large. The long-awaited wedding of my beloved brother, a once-in-a-lifetime event. It's sure to be a wonderful ceremony. My heart was pounding from the moment I left the house. I was wearing a maternity party dress I had purchased for this day. When we arrived at the venue and headed to the reception, an incident occurred. I'm Maria, the groom's sister, and this is my husband, Jason. When I told the receptionist our names, she looked puzzled.
You're the sister, right?
Yes, I am. I'm the sister of Michael, the groom.
That's strange.
And then, in the next moment, she uttered something unbelievable.
I've been informed that his sister's attendance has been cancelled.
Huh? What are you talking about? I'm the groom's sister. It's obvious that I'll be attending.
Even if you say that, we've been informed that the groom's sister has some business and will be absent.
Hold on. There must be some mistake. Both my husband and I are scheduled to attend.
Mr. Jason's name is on the guest list, so he's confirmed to attend. However, it seems that only your sister is marked as absent.
What? I was speechless at the unexpected turn of events. Instead, my husband asked the receptionist.
Whose information is it that my wife won't be attending?
It's from the bride, Amy.
Amy.
Sensing something, my husband's expression tensed. I demanded to the receptionist. Please call Amy. Before long, Amy and a woman who seemed to be her mother appeared before us. To get to the bottom of things, I confronted Amy. Amy. What on earth is going on? I'm marked as absent.
Oh, really? That's just how it is.
Wait a minute. I haven't said anything about being absent. Then she chuckled and casually said,
I couldn't care less about your opinion. You were just in the way, so I decided to exclude you. Got it?
What? What are you talking about?
From the start, I never liked you.
Huh? Amy.
You were acting all high and mighty just because you have a handsome husband and brother. I didn't like you from the moment we met. Your plain face and the name Maria don't match. You're just a nuisance to my happiness. Understand?
I had thought she was only cold towards me, but I never imagined she hated me to this extent. My body stiffened, and I couldn't find the right words to say. She looked down at me and spat out coldly.
Didn't you hear? You're just a nuisance. There's no seat for a fat monster like you here, so leave.
I was speechless. But what surprised me wasn't just this. Following Amy, even her mother began to say things that seemed unbelievable.
Amy's right. It would be a bother if an ugly person like you were at Amy's wedding, wouldn't it? Amy, just becoming family with you is pitiful.
Turning pale, she directed her words at me.
Leave right now.
Amy piled on.
Can't you leave already because you're a nuisance? You're an eyesore. You fat cow.
At that moment, the anger I had been holding back exploded. As I was about to retort, my husband raised his voice in my place.
How dare you? What are you saying to my wife? I never knew Amy could be this rude.
I'm done. Jason, let's go.
Huh? Are you sure?
I don't want to be here anymore. Let's go. I forcibly pulled my husband's arm and left the venue.
Serves you right.
Amy and her mother continued to spew insults until the very end. A few hours later, my brother rushed into our house.
Maria, Jason, I'm really sorry for what Amy did. It's unbelievable.
Apologizing sincerely, my brother, I asked him. It's not Michael's fault. But what about the wedding?
We asked the guests to leave halfway through. With my dear sister treated like that, there was no way we could continue the ceremony.
I see. A wise decision. But why did Amy go to such lengths against me?
Well, I was surprised when I heard.
Huh? Then my brother spoke quietly.
You see, Amy seemed to be jealous of you, Maria.
Jealousy?
We have a good relationship as siblings, right? Plus, Jason is quite handsome. And seeing you at the peak of happiness, even pregnant, seemed to really bother her.
What's that supposed to mean? The fact that she kept shopping excessively at my husband's department store was because he was handsome, too, it seems. The reason seemed so unjustifiable that I couldn't find any more words. My brother, while concerned about me, continued speaking.
Apparently, she didn't like the idea of everyone paying attention to a pregnant you instead of her at her own wedding. All the guests would naturally come up to you and ask, "How many months are you?" Or, "You look so happy." She couldn't stand that.
I can't believe it. For such a reason. My brother, busy with work, had entrusted all the wedding preparations to her. Whenever someone tried to say something,
The bride is the center of attention at a wedding.
he couldn't intervene because of that statement. So, he didn't even know that I had been marked as absent without my consent.
I'm truly sorry for hurting you because of me.
And again, my brother bowed his head. The next day, We were asked by my mother to come to my parents' house, so my husband and I hurried there. There, Amy's father, his face flushed with anger, was accompanied by Amy and her mother, both looking furious.
Hey, Amy. Don't you have something to say to Maria?
Prompted by her father's cold tone, she clicked her tongue and threw a tantrum.
Why should I apologize? I'm the bride, after all.
Stop it.
Then her mother chimed in, seemingly siding with Amy.
Exactly. Why should Amy apologize? Everything is this woman's fault.
Amy and her mother, with no remorse, wore fierce expressions. Then Amy's father, trembling, spoke up.
You guys. Who do you think you're saying to? What are you saying to them?
As soon as he said that, he prostrated himself before us.
My daughter and wife have truly done something inexcusable. Please, could you find it in your hearts to forgive this incident?
No matter how much he bowed his head, I couldn't possibly forgive them. I retorted to Amy's father. There's no way I can forgive, right? I couldn't even attend my dear brother's wedding. Do you think I can forgive after being treated so horribly?
This is troubling. If you don't forgive us, our company will.
Yes, the reason her father was apologizing was solely to protect his company. The company owned by Amy's father is an importer dealing with my brother's company. However, my brother was furious about this incident and pleaded with his company's executives to end business with that company. So now, he's asking for forgiveness from me, his sister, and wants to resume business with my brother's company. I didn't know my brother's company had so much power, but apparently, despite being the president's daughter, my brother was in a higher position than Amy. With his forehead pressed to the floor, her father repeated his apologies over and over again. But the fact that his underlying motive was to protect his company made me even more disgusted. Continuing to talk won't resolve anything further. I firmly told Amy and her family, I will have no further association with you. If you and my brother are to marry, I will sever ties with him.
Wait a minute. Even though my father is apologizing so much, don't you have any empathy?
I glared at Amy, who was hurling abuse at me, with a sharp look in my eyes. Empathy? Coming from the one who caused all this trouble. Who should really be apologizing? Making your father bow down like that. Your selfishness ruined Michael's happiness. A woman like you is not worthy of my brother. Know your place, you worthless woman. With that retort, I kicked Amy's family out of my parents' house. Subsequently, my brother and Amy quickly called off the engagement. She apparently begged.
I don't want to break up.
Causing my brother to ultimately hire a lawyer. In addition, my brother arranged for compensation for me. Although I wasn't keen on it, my brother said,
Sorry, it's the least I can do as an apology.
And I graciously accepted. Misfortune continued for Amy's family, and her father's company eventually went bankrupt. With the termination of business with my brother's company, which was the cornerstone of their business, they couldn't sustain their operations. In this incident, they lost everything. Looking back now, it's truly a case of reaping what she sowed. For someone who can spew such abusive language so easily, this is justifiable punishment. On the other hand, I safely gave birth and am enjoying happy days. My brother seems to have recovered from the broken engagement now, and he comes to our house almost every day, doting on my daughter.
Jason, can I hold her now?
Huh. Michael, you were holding her just now.
Come on, I'll be leaving in an hour.
Well, I guess it can't be helped, haha.
my husband and brother are competing to hold our newborn adorable daughter. Listening to their heartwarming conversation, my heart feels warm.
Since when were you cheating on me?
Wait, what are you talking about? This is our baby.
Whose child is it then? I'm infertile.
That can't be true. It's our child.
If you get a diagnosis, it'll confirm the cheating.
But my parents are red-faced and looking down. I hadn't done anything wrong and had expected them to be happy about the pregnancy. Then my sister, who had been silently listening until then, finally spoke up.
When was Ryan diagnosed as infertile?
Do you need to know that?
I'm a doctor.
Huh?
My name is Megan. I've been married to Ryan for 3 years. We dated for 10 years before getting married. Neither of us had a desire to get married, and we lost track of time. But since we'd been together so long, we decided to get married almost as a formality. We both devoted ourselves to our careers, which also delayed our marriage. Ryan is an architect, and I work in sales for an apparel company. We were so busy that even after getting married, it didn't quite feel real. Hey, Ryan. When's our next day off?
I'll check again.
Then send me an email. But who knows when I'll be free either.
Yeah, we never seem to have time off together.
Our work always came first. We were so busy that we couldn't even meet if we didn't live together. But secretly, I thought about having a child soon, considering my age. My company also deals with kids' clothing. Sometimes I work in that department, and children's clothes are irresistibly cute. I started to wish that someday I could dress my child in my company's adorable clothes. But I couldn't bring myself to talk to my busy husband about wanting children. So I tried to align our days off, suggesting we go out for a nice meal to discuss things. I know he's busy, but it's something we need to talk about someday. I decided to save my work to match his days off. One day, I wasn't feeling well and left work early after feeling dizzy. I'd been busy and thought it might be anemia. I rested at home, so tired that I didn't even notice when he came home. When I woke up the next day, it was time for work. Still feeling heavy and slightly nauseous. With a slight fever, I decided to take an unusual day off.
Are you okay? You've been sleeping since yesterday. Are you feeling sick?
Yeah, I might have overdone it. I'm taking the day off.
Okay. Let me know if you need anything. I'll get it on my way back.
You don't know when you'll be back, right? But I'll be fine. I smiled and told him. I'm usually pretty resilient, so I expected to feel better soon. I woke up later that day but still didn't feel well. I was worried about causing trouble at work. I dragged myself to the nearest clinic for a checkup.
You're 8 weeks pregnant. Congratulations.
Huh?
It's a baby. Have you been feeling unwell for about a month?
Well, work has been busy, so I thought I was just tired.
It's morning sickness. Take it easy, especially now.
I see. I left the clinic in a daze. Pregnant? Huh? Me? I hadn't realized it, but I'd been feeling off for about a month. But for someone who secretly wanted a baby, it felt like a gift from above. I was excited despite feeling unwell and went home. Maybe because of morning sickness, I was incredibly sleepy, but I couldn't wait to tell my husband and waited for him to come home. I wanted to see his face when I showed him the baby's ultrasound in a beautiful envelope. That day, he came home unusually early.
Megan, are you okay? I brought sports drinks and ice cream. Want some?
Thank you. I'll take them. Ryan, can you sit down for a moment?
What?
Come on, open this and see what's inside. I handed him an envelope containing the ultrasound photo. He peered into the envelope suspiciously.
Is this?
I went to the hospital today. I'm 8 weeks pregnant.
Wait, hold on.
It's our baby.
Wait a minute.
Instead of the joy I expected, he glared at me with red eyes. What's this reaction? It doesn't seem like confusion from sudden news.
Since when?
Huh?
Since when were you cheating on me?
Wait, what are you talking about? This is our baby.
Whose child is it then? I'm infertile.
That's not possible. It's your child. He stormed out of the house as if steam were coming out of his head. I was left bewildered and lost. More importantly, what does he mean by whose child or cheating? Beyond anger, I don't understand the meaning. I called my parents to tell them about the pregnancy. Hello, Mom? I'm pregnant.
Huh? Really? Are you okay?
What do you mean?
Well, considering you're not young anymore, physically.
I'll be fine. It's a baby I've wanted for a long time. I'll protect it.
I'll do what I can, but don't overdo it.
Thank you, Mom. I'll try not to rely on you too much.
Don't worry about that. Ask me anything.
I felt relieved hearing kind words from my mother. While my husband's words filled me with sadness, maybe he's just bewildered by this sudden news. I decided that when both families gather and we formally announce the pregnancy, it'll feel real, and they'll surely be happy. We managed to find a day that worked for both our busy schedules to gather both families. Since that day of the pregnancy revelation, my husband seemed to be avoiding me, and our relationship felt awkward. About 10 days later, both sets of parents, along with my sister, gathered at our house. Thank you all for coming today, despite your busy schedules.
So, I heard you're pregnant.
Yes. So, I wanted to make that announcement today.
An announcement? What kind of announcement?
About the pregnancy.
Isn't there something else you need to say?
What's this about? I had my suspicions, and it seems there's a reason after all.
Mother-in-law. It seems both my husband and mother-in-law suspect I cheated. I swear to God I didn't cheat, and the baby in my belly is genuinely my husband's. Why is everyone so suspicious? Come to think of it, my husband mentioned he's infertile. Taking this chance to confirm, I boldly asked in front of everyone. Hey, about what you said before, about being infertile.
That's right. I have azoospermia. I can't have children.
Huh? I never heard about that.
Because I never told you. You never mentioned wanting children either.
There was an incident in the past where he got into a big argument after someone he dated claimed to be pregnant. We had tests done then and found out he had an extremely low sperm count.
I was too embarrassed to tell my wife.
If we get the diagnosis, it confirms the cheating.
No way. Even if it's embarrassing, it's something important, so he has to say it properly. But is he infertile? I looked at my parents' faces in astonishment after unexpectedly learning my husband's secret. Both parents were red-faced and looking down. I haven't done anything wrong. I thought they'd be happy about the pregnancy. Why are they all making such scary faces? I completely couldn't understand the situation.
You should be ashamed.
My father suddenly slapped me, and I stared at him in shock and confusion. Then my mother, in tears, said something like this.
I'm sorry for what my daughter has done.
How can we apologize?
Wait. I haven't done anything wrong.
Just be quiet.
Then my sister, who had been silently listening, finally spoke up.
Excuse me for interrupting. When was Ryan diagnosed with azoospermia?
Do you need to know that? It's private.
I'm a doctor.
Huh? My sister has been an obstetrician at a prestigious hospital in the city for several years. She's so busy that we rarely see each other. Even when I got married, I only reported it over the phone due to these reasons. My husband didn't even realize she was a doctor. He only knew she worked at a hospital. Since childhood, my sister and I have never seen eye to eye with our parents. It might be because we were raised strictly, but we shared things we couldn't tell our parents and grew up together. So, despite seeing each other infrequently, I feel like my sister and I understand each other. My sister mentioned she sees many infertile couples at her clinic.
Would you like to get another test at my hospital? It's also about my sister's honor.
But we already know the results.
Sperm quality can change depending on mental and physical conditions. There could be exceptions.
Huh.
With just a few words from my sister, both sets of parents fell silent. My husband seemed reluctant, but since I was indeed pregnant, we agreed to a retest at my sister's hospital. The results showed no issues with my husband's sperm quality. Recalling when he was previously diagnosed with azoospermia, we realized it was after severe flu complications. My sister explained that although rare, extreme illness can affect sperm quality shortly afterward. My husband had a complex expression upon learning he wasn't infertile, and he changed his attitude towards me, showering me with attention as if to confirm that the baby was indeed his.
Megan, you haven't been feeling well since getting pregnant, right? I'll start helping out with household chores from now on.
Huh?
I still haven't fully realized. I'll make sure to tell my mom properly.
What's that? The last gathering was a disaster.
The situation is different now. I had to set things right.
I don't want another gathering.
Don't say that. This is a joyous occasion.
He completely changed his tune. Just recently, he suspected me of cheating and showed no concern during my morning sickness, but now he was acting like a caring partner. Although he suggested more family gatherings, I refused. Even with his changed behavior, my anger didn't subside. He accused me harshly, even calling me unfaithful, and then acted like a proud father as soon as he learned he wasn't infertile. Normally, I wouldn't hold on to things like this, but maybe because of the changes in my body, I couldn't bring myself to forgive him.
Megan, are you still mad?
Of course.
When I told my mom about my test results, she was overjoyed and eager to see her grandchild.
Huh? But you were accusing me of cheating not long ago.
I had no choice. I thought I was infertile.
I didn't know that. Why didn't you tell me sooner?
I was embarrassed.
I was embarrassed too. I was falsely accused of cheating.
That's in the past now.
It's not that simple. My anger only grew day by day. Not only my husband but also my mother-in-law, who was quick to assume I cheated, and who now happily awaited her first grandchild, left me incredulous. I knew this mental state would not be good for the baby. I decided to divorce, believing in myself, and having lived independently without relying on my parents. I want a divorce.
What?
This baby is ours. I was truly hurt that you didn't admit it from the beginning, let alone being accused of cheating.
But my illness.
Why didn't you tell me about that from the start? Before we got married, even before we started dating, you believed that, right?
Well, but do I have an obligation to say that?
This isn't about obligation. I've heard recently that there's a trend of premarital checks to ensure there are no fertility issues. We were together for a long time and became insensitive to such matters. It's infuriating that all suspicions about pregnancy fall on the woman. Pregnancy certainly changes a woman's body, but to place all responsibility on her is incredibly outdated. I was fed up with my husband and mother-in-law's way of thinking. I began living separately when I entered a stable period. I'm going to file for divorce. Not amicably, but towards divorce.
Why? Can't you forgive me already?
How can I forgive you? You and your mother not only denied me, but also invalidated our child. I can't raise a child with someone like that.
Are you planning to raise the child alone while working?
Of course, I'll need you to settle the financial aspects. That's why we'll go through mediation. I couldn't forgive my parents' behavior at the pregnancy party either. Without believing in their daughter, they publicly slapped me in the face. I planned to raise this child on my own without relying on my parents. For that, I needed my sister's help. I asked my sister to provide a certificate proving that the child was my husband's. Of course, the DNA test confirmed the parentage. Now I could claim child support from my husband without any doubt. When this was communicated to my husband through mediation, his family's obsession with having children intensified. Both my husband and his parents tried to dissuade me from divorce for the sake of having a grandchild, but I blocked all contact by changing my phone number.
The other party says they'll change their approach towards you.
Anyone can say that. I no longer trust my husband.
Your child's parentage has been scientifically proven. I'll also work hard to ensure you receive compensation and child support.
Thank you. I appreciate your help. Thanks to the mediator's support, I received compensation for the accusations of infidelity and secured child support. My husband, who was an architect, thought the amounts were trivial since he was living separately from me. However, he had a severe habit of spending and gambling, even borrowing from loan sharks. I had suspected something when he received messages from unfamiliar financial companies. While we were married, he used to embezzle living expenses, which I only realized later. He had planned to support his parents' pension from the sale of our previous home, but that was no longer possible. Now they live in a small apartment, selling the house they once owned, and spending a lonely retirement. Several months later, I gave birth to a healthy baby girl at my sister's hospital. Fortunately, she strongly resembles me. With help from my sister's connections, I was referred to a nursery, enabling me to return to work shortly after giving birth and enjoy my role as a single mother. I've become somewhat distant from my parents. However, I feel it might be unfortunate if my daughter grows up without knowing her grandparents. Perhaps I should allow her to meet them if she expresses a desire to do so. I don't hold grudges, but I do wish my parents would take a good look at themselves. These days, I also think about showing my parents' true selves to my daughter. Did you enjoy the video? Please like and subscribe to the channel. It will encourage us for future video production. Also, be sure to watch the next video.